up on AC 24/7, midterm elections are swiftly approaching, and the Democratic Party is trying to hold on strong. Plus, schools across the country will be bussed in a new style following Vice President Kamala Harris's latest announcement. And an Emmett Till statue now stands in the same state where he was killed. That is all ahead on AC 24/7. Welcome to AC 24/7. I'm Rachel Smith, in for Stephen Walker. Well, election season is in full swing, and there are a few states with some very tight races. Democrats are trying to hold on to their position in the House and Senate as midterm elections approach. Now, one key state in the race is Pennsylvania, which could help the party at its fight for control. The Advocate Channel's Jeff Zeleny has more.
On the eve of a critical debate, all eyes are on Pennsylvania in the fight for control of the Senate, as Democrat John Fetterman and Republican Mehmet Oz share a stage for the first time.
Thank you very much.
A new CNN poll shows Fetterman with a narrow edge, 51 to 45%, just outside the survey's margin of error, as Oz works to boost his campaign 2 weeks before Election Day. The race to fill the seat of retiring Republican Senator Pat Toomey has played out as a bitter long-distance duel, with a sharp focus on Fetterman's recovery from a near-deadly stroke in May.
It's the elephant in the room, having a stroke.
At a weekend campaign stop, Fetterman explaining how he will use closed captioning during his face-to-face encounter with Oz Tuesday night.
The lingering issue is, they called it auditory processing, which makes it, I hear and I understand everything in terms of on words, on paper, and understand what I hear. But when we're talking about very specific and having things like this, we're going to need I need captioning.
Today, Oz unveiling a plan to fight crime.
We're going to deal with the crime and drugs that are creating lawlessness.
An issue that has been front and center in their contest. With President Biden spending most days off the campaign trail, he made a brief visit today to the Democratic National Committee's headquarters in Washington.
Whether we maintain control of the Senate and the House is a big deal. And so far we're running against the tide and we're beating the tide.
It's yet another reminder the November elections will have lasting consequences for the 2024 presidential campaign, particularly governor's races in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, all states that formed Biden's blue wall just 2 years ago, after Donald Trump carried them in 2016. In Pennsylvania, the new CNN poll finds Democratic candidate Josh Shapiro with a 15-point lead over Republican rival Doug Mastriano. In Michigan, Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer holds a narrower 6-point edge over Republican Tudor Dixon. And in Wisconsin, an even tighter race between Democratic Governor Tony Evers and Republican Tim Michels. The economy is top of mind for voters and should be more of a priority for Democratic candidates, Senator Bernie Sanders told CNN State of the Union.
I am worried about the level of voter turnout among young people and working people who will be voting Democratic. And I think, again, what Democrats have got to do is contrast their economic plan with the Republicans.
The U.S. Senate is currently split 50-50 Republicans and Democrats, with Democrats holding just an 8-seat majority in the House. Now, for the latest election coverage, visit advocate.com. Well, more details are being released about the deadly high school shooting that took place in St. Louis. One student and one teacher were killed by the 19-year-old former student, and evidence is showing it could have been even worse. The Advocate Channel's Jen Sullivan has the latest details.
Chilling new details emerging about the man police say opened fire on a high school in St. Louis Monday, killing 2 people and injuring several others.
The shooter was in the hallway and fired a shot at myself.
Police say the shooter was carrying an AR-15 style gun when he entered Central Visual Performing Arts High School. He had more than 600 rounds of ammunition. 7 magazines were strapped to his chest, an extra 8 magazines in a bag, and he dropped other magazines inside the school. Investigators found a handwritten note in the suspect's car. The St. Louis interim police commissioner sharing part of the harrowing document during a press conference.
I don't have any friends. I don't have any family. I've never had a girlfriend. I've never had a social life. I've been an isolated loner my entire life. This was the perfect storm for a mass shooter.
We're also learning more about the two people killed in the attack. 61-year-old Jean Kushka, a health and PE teacher, and 15-year-old Alexandria Bell, who would have celebrated her 16th birthday next month.
She was the little girl that I love to see, that I love to hear from.
Authorities say the shooter was a recent graduate with no prior criminal history, and it's still unclear how he was able to get inside the building. Police say all of the doors were locked. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Vice President Kamala Harris announced a big change in the way students will be taking the bus. A new rebate will be awarded for school districts that buy new school buses that will be majority electric. The Environmental Protection Agency's Clean School Bus program will be the first time electric buses will be used as transportation. The program is set to be delivering nearly 2,500 low-emission and electric vehicles to districts nationwide from Ohio to Kentucky and more. Areas that receive the vehicles will also be allotted funds to build charging stations. Well, with COVID restrictions slowly but steadily easing, a new survey shows that most people in about 7 countries, including here in the U.S., feel more socially connected. And the Advocate Channel's Mandy Gaither tells us more.
At the height of the pandemic, with businesses shut down and people shut in, staying connected to others may not have been easy.
Human connection, it's wired into our DNA.
But a new survey by Gallup and Facebook's parent company Meta, conducted in 7 countries between April and June, shows most people feel a sense of social connection as the world eases COVID-19 precautions. In the U.S., 75% who took part said they feel very or fairly emotionally connected to others.
There's a need for us to be connected, but it does look like the pandemic did not disrupt that we are able to adapt as a species and continue that important connection.
However, at least a third of those who took part in each country said they needed support or help from someone often or sometimes in the previous month. In the U.S., 71% of those surveyed said they'd interacted in person at least once a day over the previous week, while 68% connected via text and 59% interacted over the phone.
Those who were over 65 and had a bigger social group or a bigger friend group, that tended to be associated with feeling less lonely.
As did being married and being financially stable. People who reported living comfortably felt that they had more social support than those who were finding it difficult on their current income. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
At least a third of people in each country except India said they interacted with others on social media on a daily basis. But they were also likely to use other methods, suggesting that technology-based connection helps but does not replace other types of interaction, according to the study. Well, monkeypox and HIV have collided with tragic effects. That's according to the CDC Monkeypox Incident Commander. A CDC report found that monkeypox can have devastating outcomes on severely immunocompromised patients, such as those with untreated HIV. The research examined clinical case data for 57 patients hospitalized with monkeypox and found that 82% had an HIV infection. 17 of them were hospitalized in intensive care and 12 of them died. Now, 6 deaths remain under investigation to determine whether monkeypox was a cause or a contributing factor. Healthcare providers are urging everyone to start monkeypox therapies early, even before test results and before symptoms worsen. Well, the story of Emmett Till has been told for decades across the country. Now a new statue is being raised in his honor. Hundreds attended the unveiling of a new statue of Till near the area where he was killed. The 14-year-old boy was lynched in 1955 by 2 white men for allegedly whistling at a white woman, which she later admitted was a lie. Till's murder was a catalyst for the civil rights movement. Well, the Out 100 list is officially here, and 100 of the most influential figures of the LGBTQ+ community are being honored. The list is the most unique and diverse ever, from members of Hollywood to social media stars. Cover stars include Ronan Rubinstein and Rafael Silva and the old gays of TikTok. Visit out.com for the list of honorees and their powerful stories. Well, thank you so much for being with us for AC 24/7. For content that advocates for you, go to advocatechannel.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or subscribe on YouTube. For the Advocate Channel, I'm Rachel Smith. Take care.